All right, welcome back, everybody. Time as we go around the table. Each person's going to get a chance to hit the soapbox for a minute apiece. And Mr. Brodsky, we begin with you.
New York just adopted a major reduction in pension benefits for new public workers. It's a sign that pension reduction has become a generally accepted response to the widely growing state and municipal fiscal mess. If a state as liberal as New York will do it, so will most other states. The argument is interesting. Today, the cost of pensions are not a fundamental cause of budget problems. The average state worker retires on a pension of less than $35,000. But the total, according to Governor Cuomo, will dramatically increase so that within 15 years, it could amount to as much as 35% of the cost of local budgets. For most of us, this battle is something of a spectator sport. In most cities, counties, and schools, it's real life. The kind of municipal services that we rely on, police, fire, sanitation, education, parks and community centers, they're holding on for dear life as budgets are slashed. In that context, reducing pension costs for employees who don't retire until 2040 is easy for lefties as well as righties. Hence, the New York State pension reductions and the sense that more is coming across the nation. If one's goals are to protect the American middle class, then these pension reductions are not cause for joy. An adequate level of public service and workers who provide them without impoverishing themselves help make America what it is today. That's a value judgment as much as an economic judgment, and it shouldn't be left just to public sector unions to protect both government services and the people who do the work that we all use and value. More on Brodsky at Huffington Post.
Even with a little plug. Thank you very much, Richard. Mr. Doherty.
It would be simple to rant about Washington. It's become a daily chant. If you're a Republican, I hate you. If you're a Democrat, I hate you. Or the mess, quite frankly, that's become a 17-year-old dying by a single gunshot. And 35 days or so later, we still have no idea what really happened, except some of our elected officials have taken what they believe leadership in donning hoodies, as if somehow we elected them to do that. No, today the best rant of the day is the New York, New Jersey other football team that now is officially a joke. Rumors abound today that Woody Johnson, the owner, may want to do another HBO Hard Knocks. Rex Ryan's profanity-laden first shot wasn't enough for any of us. I can see it now. Behind the scenes, Tim Tebow holding chapel services. Mark Sanchez skipping out on chapel services to pop around all over town with the latest prom queen or Sports Illustrated cover babe. Or Rex Ryan discussing his foot fetish with adoring fans. Either way, this organization clearly relishes the idea of winning an Emmy and not a Super Bowl ring. I just thank God my father was a New York Giant football fan.
Unfortunately, mine wasn't. As a Jet fan, I shudder because he speaks the truth. All right, Dominic, to you.
Okay, let's get to it. Let's return to politics, the presidential race. Can Mitt Romney beat Rick Santorum? And this is really the big question of the day in Santorum's home state of Pennsylvania, coming up on April 24th. Let's assume Romney has the nomination. Boy, does he still have plenty of headaches. Enthusiasm questions from the base that will not go away. Tom Doherty, are Republican voters passionate for him? Will they ever be excited for Romney? Or, as Brodsky says, might they sit out the election? Another problem as the moderate Romney tries to move back towards the middle to compete in battleground states, those states that Andrew told you about earlier. And for independent voters, how does Romney get away from the far right hole he has deeply dug for himself? President Obama may, and it's emphasized may, turn out the conservative base. A boomerang effect. But how will Romney close the gender gap and appeal to Latino voters? How will Romney be able to run from the tag Tom Doherty of do anything, say anything to get elected?
By the way, everybody got love in Dominic's thing except for me. I'm hurt.
And
Andrew?
Richard.
Yes.
Mr. Brodsky.
You know, elections have consequences. It's a line we hear anytime there's a change in government and the new party in power tries to hammer through an agenda the other party opposes. Elections have consequences. That line's been echoing around in my head the past few weeks. I heard it during the Trayvon Martin case, that asinine stand-your-ground gun law. It only passed because elections have consequences. Repressive voter ID laws like the one now in place in Pennsylvania passed because elections have consequences. And last week, healthcare at the Supreme Court and the assumption that the law will now likely be overturned pile that on as well. Look, 2010 was a GOP election based mostly on economic issues and fear. The results were GOP majorities in the House and states like Pennsylvania, Ohio, and Wisconsin. But the consequences were a broken government in Washington and unadvertised state Republican agendas attacking unions, abortion access, election access, and signing over policies to big business. So what happens if those same economic fears determine what happened in the 2012 election? More of the same on the state and federal levels, but my real fear is on the Supreme Court, which already ranks among the most conservative in our history. Add one more conservative Republican to the bench and Roe versus Wade could be gone, corporate influence in elections and beyond could be locked into place, and individual rights could lose in struggles with national security. It could happen and more because elections have consequences, particularly when it comes to the issues that aren't widely talked about on the campaign trail. Rich?
All right, Andrew, thank you very much.